black tiger. This is really great. I'm very happy to be here tonight, especially since I wasn't invited to the other 30. So I'm very grateful for your generous welcome and truly honored to be a part of all of this. Now, in the mid-70s, I was by myself at a music event in Santa Monica to hear Holly Near in concert. Yeah! Just loved her music, and I was so excited to actually see her. And she strode out on the stage, arms up over her head, and she said, "I'm out!" Well, everyone got so excited. Well, I was excited. And I remember clapping to her. She's out! She's out! But she's out from New York. Is that it? Is that it? Welcome to LA, Holly! I realized I might have missed the nuance of her message at the time. But many pivotal years later, I reflected on how powerful that public act must have been for her. And when I understood that I was a lesbian, I didn't want to make a public announcement. I thought maybe I could put like a small ad in the paper somewhere. But then there was someone in the know who convinced me that the best thing to do was to go on the Today Show and do a big revealing spread in People magazine and tell the whole world I was a lesbian. So I did. I just assumed that's how all of you did it. But oh, powerful? Yeah, you betcha. I could never have foreseen how transforming and how rewarding that personal and public revelation was going to be. For me, despite any successes I might have had in my life previously, it wasn't until I said, yes, that's who I am, that I felt entitled to take my rightful place. It took a lot of energy to hide secrets I didn't even know I had. And after a lifetime of trying to be whoever I thought I was supposed to be, I found it immensely satisfying, empowering, just to be myself. And so much easier. Who knew? But by making my story public, I came to see it was important. And that I have a responsibility to stand up and be counted and show those that follow that there is safety in our numbers. And it's that feeling and special evenings like this tonight that have instilled in me a deeper pride for our community and to our need to belong. I was slow in coming to the pride and the community idea myself. I even had a hard time accepting me and my partner Nancy, who's with me tonight, when we were in our first year of dating. Now, Nancy is a building contractor, and at the time, when she'd come over and stay at my house, she'd park her this huge Ford truck, this big pickup, in front of my house. Well, now, I'm sure you can understand. That made me anxious. I mean, there'd been some photographers lurking around for a while. I wasn't out at the time, and I didn't want the neighbors or the press to know I was dating someone with a truck. Because that might have meant something. But I was a real stress ball around it, so I very reasonably asked her if she could please park her truck down the street. You have to know Nancy to really appreciate the way her blue eyes narrowed. And she just said, no. There's still all the advocacy and education within our federal agencies to revolutionize policies that make health, housing, education, and other vital programs accessible and inclusive for transgender Americans. All desperately important programs, but not often the ones that grab the headlines. Now, none of this happened not one thing changed in America until we chose to be visible, to come out honestly to our families, friends, and co-workers. Just to be ourselves. Just to be normal. Now, a story really got my attention a few weeks ago. It's a guy named Timothy Couric, who's a straight, young, devout Christian man from the South. He'd been brought up to think of homosexuality as one of the greatest sins, according to his religion. And one day, a close friend of his broke down in his arms, weeping that her parents had disowned her upon learning that she was a lesbian. While Timothy wanted to offer her comfort, he was alarmed that he felt no empathy for her. He only wanted to change her. And his non-loving reaction alarmed him. He saw that he could not offer her love and compassion because of the rigid judgment that came from his religious upbringing. So Timothy was very conflicted and was questioning what he had been taught. He wondered what it felt like to be gay and so alone. He needed to empathize and understand. So he embarked on some spiritual espionage and lived for a year as a gay man. He completed that year, wrote a book about his journey and about no longer being homophobic and the profound alteration of the feelings that he experienced. Now this guy realized that his particular religious training had left him unable to feel love and compassion for all his fellows. This pained him, he knew it wasn't right, so he examined, he questioned, he reconsidered what he'd been taught, and he changed. And if he can do this, so can others. This left really good. In a million, sometimes quiet, but often extraordinary ways, the actions of all of us and our straight allies, and through leaders like America, the Human Rights Campaign, and many others in this room, affect change. We find our own voices to reconnect and strengthen families, to alter perceptions, to persuade lawmakers, to battle indifference, ignorance, and bigotry. And as much as I push marriage equality, it's so much more to me than the right to marry who we love and to enjoy equal benefits. It's part of a seemingly endless fight to dismantle government-advocated discrimination.
Yes.
If the government finds us unequal and denies us precious rights, how can we expect anything but more discrimination, more bigotry, more intolerance from everyday people who simply observe their government at work? To me, that heightens our responsibility to not just lobby Washington. We have to make ourselves known and to be even better representatives of our communities. Now, most people discriminate due to fear, religious teachings, misunderstanding, lack of education, lack of exposure. So we have to go be the undemonic, the unscary, the kind, the normal, the healthy, loving people that a lot of otherwise fair-minded people don't know we are. You may be the first gay, lesbian, or transgender that someone meets, so you represent us all. So let's take that special responsibility seriously and slowly, by our patience, our willingness, our tolerance, our votes, we can go out and slowly capture those hearts and minds. We'll just say, yes, I'm gay. How can I help? Thank you.